Jetzt nicht mehr. Jetzt gut.
So, hello. Can we check the microphone?
No, sides we seem to be okay, Miro.
Okay, that's good to know, yeah. So, it's not connecting to the... Shall I make you an admin?
Genau. Sie müssen nur sich selber komplett muten in Zoom, weil sie hören jetzt, also auch ihr Mikrofon.
Aha, okay, ja, okay. Okay, aber hier hören wir uns noch nicht.
Doch, auf den, also ich kann auf den Kopfhörern halt, genau.
Ach so, okay.
Genau. Möchten Sie auch so einen Kopfhörer?
Ja, dann hätte ich auch gern so einen Kopfhörer.
Da hinten ist auch ein Monitor, den kann ich auch noch einschalten, einen kleinen.
Ah ja, das wäre
nur die Idee.
Gut.
Soll ich vielleicht wegen des Zooms, ob ich das, weiß ich nicht, wie das dann klingt.
Ich werde das Mikrofon ohnehin nicht einschalten hier.
Ja, mir geht es mehr um den Rückweg, ob Sie möchten ja den Ton auch hören wahrscheinlich.
Ja.
Ich versuche das mal darauf zu geben und wenn Sie denken, das ist vielleicht nicht schön, dann können Sie sich ja einen Kopfhörer gerne nehmen.
Caroline, please, join us. Ja, Caroline. Okay, wonderful. So, we are ready to go, I would say. For your information, we have the venue for longer, so if we want to extend beyond 11 o'clock, it's okay, but okay. Ja. Okay. Und der Zoom kommt. Okay. Hello, Nadia. Nadia, please join us here. Good, please. Very good. Oh, perfect. Yeah. So, let me see if I can hear better with an earplug. So, yes, okay. Asking the technicians whether we are fine. Is it okay? Perfect. So, a very, very warm welcome. Good morning, everyone here from Baku, from the United Nations Climate Change Conference COP29. My name is Miroslav Polzer, and I'm with the International Association for the Advancement of Innovative Approaches to Global Challenges, IIASA GloCha. And our organization is one of the hosts of the Digital Innovation Pavilion. We are the ones who are bringing solution providers to the COP process, which initially was an intergovernmental negotiation space, producing text, but now that we have the texts that are needed, we have the goals, it's about implementation, and here it's needed that other stakeholders get engaged as well. And here for climate action, digital innovation is of particular importance, and we try to be a bridge between the digital innovation community and the global climate governance community and global climate action community. And we are here today now for the event of UN Environment, the Geospatial Network, and their initiative One Map. Alex will tell us more about it, but the point there is that geospatial information is a key which can unlock and empower multi-stakeholder climate action. And these one map, all these data resources of the UN agencies, this can really be very well harnessed for the good of local communities, individuals, youth, and we are going to see how new forms of partnerships, new forms of collaboration can be set up to build collective geospatial intelligence initiatives. And perhaps just another context information here at the COP, there are each day are thematic priorities, and today's thematic priority is digitalization, and therefore we have also at our Digital Innovation Pavilion the localization of climate action and AI Day, and we are delighted to have you today with us. And I would kindly invite Alex Caldas, the director of the Early Warning and Data Analytics Unit of UN Environment to join us. And Pourya, please join us here as well. And to present the one map and the role of partnerships in this. Alex, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Sincere word of esteem, Miro, for the bringing together. As we can see, the main word here is digital innovation, but is particularly partnership, because as we can see from the background and from the presenters, we have in place a real partnership from the tech world, from citizen science world, from the United Nations international organizations world. Some words of welcoming. One is the dimension, the size of the challenges that humanity faces, and climate is one dimension, and the environment is one dimension, but is tremendous. So we are facing, humanity is facing probably unprecedented levels of challenges. But the main situation is this time is facing challenges that traverse the different pillars from sustainable development. Environment is one of those pillars, but the environmental impacts on social and economic, the sustainable development is one of the pillars. The second one, of course, is humanitarian, because all of this is about people, is about places, so humanitarian. We have the unprecedented levels of challenge on international rule of law, as it can be seen everywhere, and of course, peace and security, conflict situation everywhere. And last but not least, the cornerstone of the UN, human rights. So I think the key word here is the dimension of the challenge across the 5 pillars of humanity is so big that we have only one solution. We have to harness the power of digital technology. We have to harness the power of geospatial, geolocation, in order that we can be in a good position to fight those challenges. Bringing one map, one humanity is simple. It is we all live in this world. There's a one map of humanity that goes from the very global, as you can see on the screen. There's 193 places and nations around the world, and we need to be able to geolocate, to harness the power of digital technology, to geolocate any kind of events to help us to tackle those events and to help us to do better. Definitely, as I mentioned, sustainable development is one of those pillars, environment and climate is one of those pillars, but we have several different indicators of how the environment is going, average temperatures, coral bleaching, floods everywhere, floods hazards. We can simulate how floods hazards are going to evolve in the next upcoming 10, 50, 100 years. We have marine plastics everywhere. So we need to tackle all these components, and we need to be able to act on those, okay? So that's the biggest challenge that we bring, and how the digital technology world, the geospatial world, can bring together these elements to help to tackle those challenges. Let me just... The One Map has been an initiative of 42 UN agencies across the 5 pillars I mentioned. And we have been trying to put together how all these geospatial data and information can traversing climate disasters, poverty, gender, health, hunger, education, peace, humanitarian, can come together. As you can see, it's an effort that will take time. It's a sustainable effort over time, and it takes the effort of 42 UN agencies across the UN system to put it together. As you can see at the very top, we have what it does matter, which is people, which is member states, which is places, and at the very bottom we have our own structure, the UN Geospatial Information Community, of course we want to do it in a way that we can be contributing to the Paris Agreement on climate. We want to be contributing to disaster risk, the Sendai framework, and how to mitigate disasters all over the world. Of course, naturally to the Sustainable Development Agenda and to the 2030 goals and targets. And last but not least, back to the UN Charter, to human rights, peace and security at the very core of the effort. Again, and probably I will go back to the point that we can only do these together and across the 5 pillars. And as we will see today by the interventions of our key partners, technology companies, the best in the world on tackling technology solutions, citizen science community, by bringing together the power of citizen science, we can bring science back to the core of the solutions that we can provide. And last but not least, of course, communities and community-based information. I hope we can hear very clearly that most of these innovative solutions can only come from youth-led organizations, from the ground, from community-based innovation. I'll stop here, just wishing that we can harness really the power of this digital innovation into the solving the solutions that humanity is facing today. And we hope one map of humanity can be one of those tools to contribute to it. So I'll stop here and wishing that we can work together to move this forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex. Congratulations to the great work, and thanks a lot for being such a wonderful cooperation partner. And talking about cooperation partners, community level data collection, I would now like to invite Doug Ragan, who is our partner already for years. And we had already 3 times now in September at the UN headquarters in September, the week before the high-level UN General Assembly week, we had our conference on localization of SDG action, and youth empowerment and culture is also a topic that we are addressing always. And Doug, please, you have 3 minutes to add your perspectives on the value of these global tools, global ecosystems to bringing in local level data with youth engagement. Doug, please.
Sure. Thanks so much, Miro, and it's really great to be here. And honored to be with all these really interesting panel from all different walks of life. And I think that's really what one of the things that One Map is about, is One Map is bringing together humanity, bringing together the world to really look at this. I have only 3 minutes, so I'm going to be really quick. One of the key parts that we see of One Map, both as UN Habitat and as UNEP, which I work for both, is community-led data. And why that's important is we need data now. We've seen, and real-time data, almost foresight, because what we're seeing is the disasters happening quickly. What once was once at 100 years incidents now is an annual incident, and that's what we're trying to move. So one of the examples we have of this is the climate emergency that happened here in Nairobi, Kenya. We, UN Habitat and UNEP, are the 2 anchor UN agencies in Nairobi, and we had a huge climate emergency, flooding in Kenya in 2024. Here's some of the partners. This is one of the more dramatic, very dramatic shots of what happened in one of the major slums in Kenya called Mathare. Why is it not moving? Okay, next one. What as well we've seen is that what the impact of that flood was, it affected households. It basically houses were destroyed. It forced relocation of people. People lost their homes because along the rivers they overflowed. Government came in, took out a lot of along the riparian zones of what was the housing, so people were dislocated. Also, for children and youth, it impacted them massively with education disruption and such. And again, we do a lot of work with youth. We had two responses that go hand in hand. First is, of course, just the emergency response, which is what happens, especially in an African context where 70% of the population is under the age of 30. You have young people are one of the first responders. So we supported that through working with the Canadian government. Actually supported this. We have partnerships, emergency relief, a community-based approach, working with groups such as Mtamwango, Swellum Dollars International. That's the emergency response. But we also need a long-term response. We need to know what's on the ground. And in a place like an informal settlement in which you can't find that, often it's not mapped, thus being informal. We had to go in, and what we've done is, this is where it comes to the technology side, is we've trained young people to do geospatial mapping, create a base map, understand what's there so we can understand what's lost, and understand how we can build back better. So build back safe, build back sustainable, that's our goal. And that the way we do that is engaging communities. The way we do that is training communities. The way we do that is training key groups such as youth and women in geospatial technologies is one of the easiest accessible technologies. So there you go, my 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Doug. It's really good to have a concrete example of how this kind of approaches that we are looking at of citizens and youth engagement can be connected with coordination of action. And now it's my great pleasure to invite Geoffrey Levene. Geoffrey is the Director of Worldwide AI Initiatives and Global Public Sector's Head of Remote Sensing at NVIDIA, helping nations scale AI for good, climate, security, and space. With Geoffrey, we have met in New York 2 months ago. There we had our GloCha Global Philanthropy and Impact Entrepreneurship event at Schmidt Future New York office, and we've seen that we have so much aligned in our thinking and our goals, and it's really impressive what you have done already in the past, but it's even more impressive what the potentials that are now to bring NVIDIA with one map and with these global efforts to build AI and data science capacity. Geoffrey, please tell us what you are doing and where you see the potentials to collaborate with one map.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Miro. It's a pleasure to be here. I wish I could have been in person, but again, I've been traveling pretty heavily, and I had to be in the States. It was wonderful going to your event at Climate Week in New York City, where we had a breakout workshop, and I really got to learn more about what you've been doing with the One Map program over the last decade, and it's very important, these types of tools. As we see, the world's not getting calmer. I think there's certain areas around surface water management that Doug was showing. It's there's the technology that's coming out is ever so important. And, something I've been doing, and what's really great about being at NVIDIA, they allow us to donate time. So I've been working with our partners ecosystem, and we've been bringing in compute systems and helping to create developers throughout the global South, with the idea that we need more developers. We need more people bringing accelerated compute to these types of problems. I think the One Map is amazing where it is today, but we have to think forward. Where is the world going over the next 2 to 3, 5 years? What does the 30s look like? The 40s look like? We know there's going to be bigger problems, but the technology's there. And fundamentally, I believe the right thing to do is to enable as many developers as possible to have this technology and machine learning and data science to work in AI, to work in simulation, to find novel ways of working in managing surface water and forestation, for better healthcare, for food sustainability. I know the world's facing many agricultural problems, and also supply chain stability. We have these tools, and the one map I think is the beginning of it, but the direction this is going is, fundamentally we see compute is typically been, we go from training to inference, and inference has become generative, right? As we see generative with these chat GPT, and so it's gone from inference from being retrieval based to generative, right? So I can generate at that moment. What we're seeing now is that we're going before training. The future world that we're going into is that you'll do simulation. We're going to have more autonomous systems working with us. We're going to have more sensors, and those sensors will have more intelligence that we can drive more decision making. We can have better awareness of what's happening on the edge, and really creating this developer community that could take advantage of these new technologies, specifically having AI as the fourth industrial revolution. So, this is very powerful. For the first time ever, you can manufacture intelligence. Electrons come in and intelligence comes out. And it's a matter of where do you want to apply that intelligence. And I think it's very important to create as many developers as possible that understand this technology and can really bring it to solving these hard problems that the world's facing. So I'll pause there, and it's a pleasure meeting you, and I'm excited about the road ahead of how we can partner to actually bring more tools and more accelerated compute to the OneMap program.
Wonderful, yeah. And we, based on this first connection in New York during Climate Week, we have had already 2 calls, and it's about building a partnership, building an MOU between OneMap and NVIDIA, and integrating also our work with GloCha as an associated partner. And we thought having an event here at the climate conference as some kind of joint design exercise, some brainstorming, collecting ideas about which area to focus in for some pilot use cases for cooperation. That's somehow the aim of today's event, some just exploring and learning about the space and the opportunities. And we are glad to have also 2 representatives of NVIDIA in the audience. Would you like to comment something at this point or later? Or Jeff did a great job. Josh Parker, Chief Sustainability Officer of NVIDIA, says.
And well, that's great. And Miro, whether we have an MOU or not, I think the spirit of what you're working on is important, and really just helping to educate the nations of the world on our platform, and making sure that they're aware of how to use these modern tools to solve some of these hard problems. So we're here to do that regardless.
Bravo. Yeah, certainly a very valuable endeavor, and I hope that NVIDIA also will be our partner next year when we will have the Digital Innovation Pavilion at the next climate conference, and really where we will focus on localization of climate action. I really believe that this is a systemic need of the UNFCCC process, and bringing these solutions, these tools, these capacities to those who are responsible for climate action governance is certainly needed. And
maybe I'll add one more point too, as we're working on this. We do have a program called Earth 2, and that's based on creating a full Earth system model. If you look at all models of the Earth now, it's really limited to smaller geography. So we're actually doing a full Earth system model of the entire Earth, and we're actually doing physics-informed AI with that. So as far as we are developing these climate tools and a platform that I believe, as OneMap matures and our Earth 2 program mature, that we can really collaborate better to bring more and more data into these types of systems to have better understandings of how things will unfold, and the actions we can take to make a brighter future.
Perfect. I love it. And now let's because it's the One Map Partners Lab, so to say, and the One Map initiative has been launched on the 1st of August in New York at a session of the UN Geospatial Network, and the Citizen Science Global Partnership has been there at the table with the representatives of the UN agencies. Also GloCha has been there, ESRI has been there. But now I would like to give Matt Grace the word, and then afterwards also to Bridie to say a few words about the citizen science concept, or where you as these global platforms see the opportunities to add value to One Map and to use One Map also for your work. Matt, let's start with you.
Thanks, Miroslav. Pleasure to be here, coming live to you from Sydney in Australia. I might just share how the Citizen Science Global Partnership's been supporting UNEP in this effort to date. What you're looking at is obviously the World Environment Situation Room. The CSGP has been putting together the Citizen Science Portal that supports that effort. And if you don't know what citizen science is, or you want to learn more about what we do in this field, this is a great place to start, full of hundreds of projects from all around the world, where it shows you the power and the reach of citizen science. But listening to Geoffrey speak before, I'm reminded of the quote that the future's already here, it's just not evenly distributed. And so the Citizen Science Global Partnership is wading right into that problem, and we aim to bring together the world's citizen science volunteer associations to elevate best practice and to coordinate research resources into the future. And citizen science over the last 5 or so decades has been very, very effective in addressing global challenges like climate change, like pollution, like biodiversity loss, like public health, precisely because it's hyper-localized data collection by locally impacted communities. And more often than not, that data that they collect directly informs or changes local policy in and around those affected areas. And when we kind of harness citizen science at scale, we're essentially talking about millions of people all around the world that can reach into the farthest places that, say, professional science agencies can't always get to, because the citizens are there, they're living in these places, and that's how they can support more systematic institutional research. Secondly, citizen science at that type of scale is very cost-effective mechanism for our agencies to gather this data and reach these hard to reach areas to inform actions and policies. And lastly, when you include your citizenry around the world in these efforts, when you align yourselves with research institutions, universities and agencies and such other things like that, you're teaching people new skills, you're bringing people together. And I think at this time in our global moment, you're building trust in the science that is supporting a lot of this policy, and that's very important. And so when people are participating in that, you are really driving a worldwide social movement. And lastly, if we think about who citizens are, it's everybody and anybody who cares. Often it's farmers, it's builders, it's economists, it's teachers, it's people in the community with real skills who care about the world around them. They're intelligent and they have the ability to contribute to these efforts. So I strongly encourage you all to look at the World Environment Situation Room Citizen Science Portal for a flavor of the work that we do and just how effective it can be. And I look forward to working with you all in the future. Bridie?
Congratulations, yeah. And yeah, Matt is also with the Austrian Science Foundation, and I hope that there will be also some formulas for engagement and joint resource mobilization that we can tap into. And staying in Australia, and also, as you said, there are people passionate about contributing to addressing these challenges with knowledge. There also, we believe we can build an ecosystem in which we can have citizen science micro-entrepreneurship, that we can really incentivize these knowledge contributions of youth or whoever might there be. And Bridie is working also on micro-credential initiatives and other solutions where we also want to partner with our Global Challenges Action Empowerment Ecosystem. Bridie, you have 3 minutes to say your perspectives. You have been in New York as well, and you have this business mind. How can we set up structures that will be lasting?
Thank you, Miroslav. I'm not sure I'll need 3 minutes because I believe Matthew covered it beautifully with what he said. I just wanted to add that Matthew mentioned the notion of trust. So when the communities, when the citizens themselves are involved in the work, then that's when they have the trust in you. But similarly, these citizens are working hand in hand, closely collaborating with scientists such as myself. So by having that ongoing collaboration between the researchers who are doing the work and the citizens who are helping them, we make sure that we're gathering robust scientific data because we're doing it using the scientific method and doing it in a way where the data is streamlined, but also it goes through the same quality assurance and quality control processes as any other scientific rigorous processes. Miro mentioned that as part of what we do, and Matt touched on it as well, about upskilling the citizens. So we have developed a citizen science micro-credential course. So essentially, and again, as Matthew said, just because you're not a scientist by trade doesn't mean that we can't provide you with the skills to become someone who can actively participate in addressing these global challenges. So we've established that through a micro-credential program. My colleague Barbara is on the line at the moment. Barbara is based in Kenya, and we have already successfully run a trial in Kenya with local farmers to give them a certification in citizen science. So they are actively contributing to their local economy through citizen science, but also to national and global data collection for citizen science projects related to the effects of farming on global warming, but also the effects of global warming on farming in the African regions. So as Matthew also said, really looking forward to progressing this and working with you all in the future.
Thank you very much, Bridie, and welcome also Barbara and Edine Thornton. Now let's come here to the podium, and you have mentioned already Kenya, and we are delighted to have Caroline Ouko with us from the research organization CETRAD, and working also with Kenyan authorities on Achieves Climate Action Day and other solutions, action for climate empowerment, really getting everyone engaged in climate action. So Caroline, how are your perspectives on digitalization in general, but especially also localization of this action, and how can these tools like OneMap and AI capacity building help you specifically with your work in Kenya?
Thank you, Miro, and thank you, everybody. It's very interesting that the examples are from Kenya, and my first quick reaction is that we've talked about science and practice, but there's the aspect of policy, so that we have policy, science, and practice. And as Miro is referring to the climate action, which we are now rolling out in Kenya, we are using the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, which is able to cover the whole country at just a click of a button, because they coordinate everything in the country, including security, and now they're involved in climate action in terms of 15 billion tree. There's a strategy by the president that we should plant trees so that we raise the coverage of the tree cover from where it is to go to beyond 10%. So we've been in discussions with the GloCha, how we can work together, this particular climate action, using a ministry which is able to cascade to the whole country from A to Z, because that is because of the way it is, the governance structure of that ministry. It has people from the grassroots up to the presidency. So it is a very, very good avenue to use so that we get action. We are now done with the decisions and we are at implementing. And this will be a game changer because when you're able to do something massive using one avenue and you can get the impact, and that's where the issues of technology comes in. How do we ensure that the action being undertaken can be monitored, the people can know how it is happening, why it is happening, and with who, and that we can use the technologies. We were discussing with Miro and the Principal Secretary, and he was able to see the tools which are already there, and citizen science comes in, the issue of the map comes in, and I really like the 5 pillars because it is actually covering all that is being covered in that ministry. For now, that's what I can say, but in case of any clarifications, we are available. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Caroline. It's such a pleasure having you as a partner. And we said it's a one map partners lab, but my partners are also your partners, so we are presenting some of our GloCha partners here, and I'm delighted to have Pourya with us. Pourya is with ICLEI. He is leading the research and innovation work at this network of cities that are champions in sustainability and climate action, and you have a strong interest in data and digital solutions. And please tell us your perspectives on this localization topic and the tools, one map and AI, where you see the potentials to empower your members and all cities around the world.
Fantastic. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening to the colleagues joining us online. And thanks so much, Miroslav, for this invitation. The more I listened to the panelists, the more I was convinced that it was a good investment of time to be part of this conversation. So excited about that. Quickly about ICLEI, we are the largest and the longest established global network of cities with more than 3 decades of experience working with cities, 2,500 cities, which accounts for 20% of global population, 24 offices across the world, active in 137 countries. So obviously we are working with cities globally on different areas to help them for strategies to enhance their climate resilience and sustainable development, and of course geospatial technologies and data, particularly within initiatives like One Map, One Humanity, are the key enablers for the transformation that we are collectively supporting. So today I'll focus on one of these challenges that cities are facing, flooding, which is one of the most pressing challenges as it is impacting 250 million population every year. Just to put it into context, is more than 100 times of the size of population of this city that we are currently in, Baku, the capital city of Azerbaijan, and causes more than like $40 billion annually, right? So obviously urban areas are more vulnerable to this extreme event because of the population density and infrastructure. So in the recently published book that is called Urban Resilience in the Age of Digitalization, we co-authored a chapter with a mutual friend, Catherine Foster, focusing on leveraging and integrating geospatial technologies into flood risk management. And we were arguing on 3 key areas that these technologies can support. One is mapping the prone areas to flooding, and then the second is the AI-driven analytics that can inform the scenarios for climate action, and the third is developing the digital twins for urban environments to simulate impact and design mitigation measures. As an example, the city of Jakarta did this, and through this they designed some drainage upgrades which reduced 25% of the the frequency of flooding by 25% over the past decade. But this is certainly not enough, right? We are facing challenges that we need to collectively address, and one of them is scarcity of data, particularly in Global South, and limited capacity, technical capacity. And I personally believe, I would like to admit that I was unaware of the One Map initiative until Miro told me, and I'm so thankful. And last night, late night, I was doing some research on that, and I realized that there are a lot of wonderful tools and programs out there if you're just like unaware of them, right? And for that reason, I'm thankful for these convenings, because it helps us to learn about it. And when I say us, we're talking about a huge network of cities, that then we get excited about how best we can extend this sort of support to our cities and communities. And obviously this One Map initiative can address these gaps by promoting data sharing, collaboration, and also the capacity building. And beyond that, we need to ensure these technologies are leveraged in a way that prioritizes equity and ensures that benefits reach to the most vulnerable community that oftentimes bear the brunt of climate impacts. And I would like to conclude this, that one of the most exciting developments and the opportunities that we have is the growing involvement of private sector, including NVIDIA, with their advancement and innovations in AI, in geospatial data processing and digital twins. They are offering an unparalleled potential to enhance urban resilience. And I was looking into NVIDIA's Omniverse platform. I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing that correctly, that allows cities to create digital twins, integrating data from different sources for real-time testing. And this could be a real asset for a lot of cities globally. So I would love to see collaborations could really help cities access these tools, which would otherwise remain out of reach. And I look forward to further conversation with different partners and of course, with Miro and colleagues in NVIDIA to ensure how best we can offer this tool to our cities within our network. Thank you.
Bravo, thank you very much, Pourya. This was very inspiring and encouraging. And talking about data, of course, one important stakeholder community is science and research. And we have Nadia, Komandantova, Amann from IIASA. IIASA is the International Institute for Applied Systems Analysis based in Austria. I think, in my view, one of the most important, most attractive research organizations that we have, and we are happy and proud to have you as a partner for developing solutions, digital tools for citizens' engagement. And there will be also on Monday a session led by IIASA. Please, Nadia, your perspectives on the topic and the potentials of One Map and AI and digital twins, or whatever you would like to highlight.
Dear Miro, thank you very much for so nice and kind invitation and introduction. Yes, representing IIASA. IIASA is an international organization being supported by National Academies of Science of 24 countries. Within IIASA, I am leading the group which is called Cooperation and Transformative Governance. And in our group, we develop decision support systems and tools based also on AI in 3 areas: digital transition and transformation, innovation policy, and climate change mitigation and adaptation. And while speaking about engagement and data collection, I would like to mention 2 kinds of tools. The first tool we developed in frames of Horizon 2020, a European Union project which is called Mediate, and being implemented and coordinated by NORSA. In frames of Mediate, we addressed so-called multi-risk situation. And this is a situation when stakeholders have to face the choice between various risk mitigation strategies in the case of several hazards and risk. And what we developed in cooperation with the University of Stockholm is a tool which is based on multi-criteria decision analysis and allows to model the preferences of stakeholders from local communities on different risk mitigation scenarios, and then integrating this decision-making component in this decision support system, which then prepares scenarios for vulnerability, socio-economical vulnerability, considering different natural hazards. The second kind of tool which I would like to mention was prepared also by our group, and it's called social media mining tool. And it allows to understand discourses of various citizens. It allows to collect millions of data inputs from the social media. And why do we need to understand these discourses? Because they are essential for communication during disaster risk reduction. So our research shows that information in social media impacts the behavior of people for risk mitigation strategies, but also for behavior during disaster situations. We could see during the last floods, for example, which we had in Austria, but also in other parts of Europe, we saw that human losses were much higher in the areas where we could see the impacts of so-called misinformation. When false information was spread via social media, which influenced impact and trust of people to the national government to manage the risk. So what we are doing, we are preparing the tools which allow to understand how people perceive this different risk, which allows to see how this information is being circulated, but also which allows to pre-bank and to debunk misinformation. And together with Miro, we are looking now for some exciting joint cooperation and initiatives where we will be using these tools and collecting data for understanding discourses on social media, but also for facilitation of engagement of citizens and stakeholders. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nadia. And now to Olga Shumilova. Daria. Daria. Sorry. Daria Shumilova. From UNIDO Global Clean Tech Innovation Program, and doing great work in enabling and supporting clean tech startups and new business solutions. And there is also a need for data. And how are your perspectives on this localization of action and impact and these tools?
Thank you, Miroslav. I just need to say that my remarks will be very impromptu right now, so I was not really prepared to be a panelist, but I will give you maybe a few words about the work that we're doing within the Global Clean Tech Innovation Program. So Miroslav and we know each other already for a couple of years, and the collaboration between GloCha and GCIP, like the program of UNIDO, started to work on joint outreach activities, to promote the work that we're doing, and to raise awareness about the need for local climate action and the need to support solutions with the climate mitigation potential. So what we do in the Global Clean Tech Innovation Program, we support early stage innovations from emerging markets and developing economies. So we run national accelerators in the countries where we are present, where the program is present, where we source, where we find, we scout for innovations together with the national partners, and we then provide them with the tools, with the business training curricula, with the business modeling support, with the investment facilitation support, and we build this global network of startups and SMEs that address the most pressing issues related to climate mitigation. So we support innovations in the areas of renewable energy, energy efficiency, waste management, resources efficiency, water management, advanced materials, e-mobility, so green buildings. So these are the type of innovations we're working with. These are really hardware clean technology innovations. We do have digital solutions as well, and the more we go into the digital era, the more like we progress with AI and everything. We see more and more solutions that come that are digital. But at the core of what we work with is also, of course, the hardware clean technologies that help mitigate, help reduce CO2 emissions. The problem that we always face and what we always see is the lack of ecosystem infrastructure and lack of connections for those solutions to actually kick off the ground. Because the ideas are there, the potential is there, the the mitigation potential is there, and you can see how these ideas can kick off. But what they lack is the connections to financial support, to investors. The national ecosystems are weak. The regulatory frameworks are not conducive. They are not enabling. They face a lot of barriers. There are not enough of those innovation clusters that are available to support innovations. You know, that things like Silicon Valley in California, in many countries where we operate, there is nothing even close to that, where startups can really get access to facilities, they can get access to any kind of support infrastructure that can help them kick off their business. So what we see and what we're trying to do as other part of our program, we're trying to help the countries that we work with to build and to strengthen their national innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystems. So we guide countries, we provide them with tools, with frameworks on how to build clusters, how to engage different actors, how to map all the stakeholders within the ecosystems, and how to build this infrastructure that in some countries is not there or is not developed enough. And how it is connected to the digital space is that, we live in the digital era, we live in such an interconnected world, and for those innovations to access finance, to access investment, to be able to connect with each other, to connect with the, let's say, source of the problem and to offer their solutions, they need access to those tools. They need to have a platform where they can say, okay, you have a problem, I have a solution, and maybe you are based somewhere in the other part of the world, but my solution can help you solve this problem in the easiest, most efficient way, because very often we see overcomplicated ideas and overcomplicated processes in some countries, whereas here is the solution that is simple, is energy efficient, is resource efficient. It's just maybe not in the same country, it's on the other side of the world. And this is where we see the potential of building this digital infrastructure, global digital infrastructure for connecting innovators, connecting those startups, not only to the sources of funding, but actually to offering their solutions to governments, to industry, to institutions, to various stakeholders, various actors. We also have, as a kind of announcement, we also have 2 innovation challenges that we are kicking off this year. One is in India and the other one is Namibia. And they both focus on energy solutions, and they source solutions from all over the world to solve the problems and to provide solutions to the problems existing in those 2 countries. So the applications for the India Innovation Challenge are actually ongoing now. So if you think that any of your networks would be interested in spreading the word, we would be very happy, I would be very happy to provide more information and to share with you the link to the applications, because this is exactly one of those examples. It's these innovation challenges, yes, they are applicable to India and Namibia, but they source solutions from all over the world, not only from those countries. And this is just one of those examples. So thank you very much, Miro.
Thank you very much, Daria, and really thanks for highlighting this need for this ecosystem for bringing everyone together. And it was also a big topic in New York in September, these global digital public goods, somehow the IT infrastructure, the data infrastructure that, for instance, clean tech entrepreneurs, social impact entrepreneurs need to really demonstrate how they are creating impact and then having really a better basis to connecting with funding. And now to our last speaker on the podium, Domenico, Vito, from Milan. Domenico is our partner, our GloCha partner in Milan, but you are also very active in Yango. Your starting point has been this youth engagement in the UNFCCC process. We work together on digital art for climate, and you are working with several universities. You are primarily a scientist, and could you share with us a little bit how to engage youth, for instance, with the projects that you have in California?
Thank you very much, Miro, and thank you very much for inviting to this great panel that I was following with great interest. As Miroslav has said, I'm Domenico Vito. I'm based in Italy, but I work as a researcher at the Metabolism of Cities Living Lab at the San Diego State University, where our goal is probably to localize SDGs with data. And we are running several projects properly on that, and I want to mention one in particular that is properly based on citizen science. We are focusing on SDG 14, so the marine life, and we launched properly last year with Miroslav a campaign that's called From Trash to Treasure, where we engage citizens and especially community to map through beach litter with a funny activity that can also be catchy for youth and so on, to engage them in collect data on the coastal distribution of wastes in order to analyze the material flows and so on and so forth. So I was following, as I said, with great interest, because I think that citizen science is not only a way to get data, but also a way to create awareness and create preparedness. Because once the people know the problem and see the problem by their eyes, they are more, we can say, compliant also to implement climate adaptation policies, or in general environmental resolution policies and so on and so forth. This year, just to share with you also, Miroslav, a news, we implemented more AI in the system, because we can get a lot of data also by citizen science, but one of the also research problem that we are facing is how to analyze this data, how to create useful information from such amount of data. And on this, AI can really play a key role. And I'm very glad that today we discuss about this topic, because these topics are the future of data science. And so I would say, just closing my intervention, that science has been for several years so close in the labs and so on. That's okay, it was a phase. Now a new phase is to open to the community and open to the citizen science with the citizen science approach to engage them to a common effort for addressing climate action and sustainable development goals. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Domenico, and really congratulations here also to UNEP initiative, especially Alex, because they have really opened the door, action, collaborative, collective geospatial intelligence initiatives. I think really here is the space for innovation and going beyond universities, going beyond national statistics offices or whatever, and really opening up this innovation space and data collection space. And may I perhaps give the word also to Alexei Shadrin, the co-host of our Digital Innovation Pavilion, perhaps regarding the idea of having next year even a stronger focus on localization of SDGs with digital innovation and AI, and in general, what you think in the context of this topic should be done, can be done.
First of all, I want to congratulate Miroslav Polzer and GloCha for organizing and hosting a very successful digital innovation pavilion already for 3 years in a row. We are blessed and honored to be also partners for all of these 3 years. And I think the momentum is growing for digital innovations. And we started when it was like a weird, like small topic that no one wanted to come and discuss. And now we see that it's a mainstream topic, and it's absolutely needed and endorsed, acknowledged by everyone. This year, the Digital Innovation Pavilion in the Blue Zone is the only and the leading innovation initiative in the Blue Zone, and we're standing at the forefront of innovations here, standing strong. And you know, the level of speakers, you know, the audience is increasing. And so I think for the next year in Brazil, where the attendance is expected to be even more, even bigger. So I guess we need to expand, because our partners are asking us for this, and we probably go for a much bigger and stronger pavilion with multiple zones and areas. And I think this is a sign of the great success, and Brazil will be a very important and crucial for sustainability, for nature-based solutions. So I guess this is my call now to start discussing this with us, because there are already partners who, unfortunately, they were not able to participate this year, but they are already discussing with us the next year. And so if we start preparing earlier, we will deliver much bigger impact. And this is actually amazing. So I want to congratulate everyone for their support, especially HBAR Foundation, the organization that has been supporting us for 3 years already, and allowing to maintain such a high level of organization, of speakers, and of course other sponsors and partners and ecosystem partners, of course, of the Digital Innovation Pavilion. And this year we are proud to have also Azerbaijan Digital Innovation and Development Agency as a partner of the Digital Innovation Pavilion. So for the next year, we would increase the interaction and collaboration with the host country. This is already a trend that we're following, and I guess this would be even broader collaboration that we will start early in the year. And it will not only be the Digital Innovation Pavilion at COP, like here in Azerbaijan. This will be a series of events involving the governments, the regions, the cities, the local stakeholders, local innovators, so that we can better prepare for COP and all be aligned and deliver more and better. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Alexei, and thanks for being such a great cooperation partner. So is there any quick question or comment in the audience that we should hear? Otherwise, I would suggest we make a closing round, if that's okay. So, Caroline, would you like to start concluding remarks? Or
no, just to say that it's very interesting. I don't remember the name, but the last speaker said from the beginning, when you are talking blockchain and technology and innovation, it sounded, abstract. But now that's where everything is going. It's like we are looking at the future. And like I said, for issues of policy, really we need to understand fast, and then we are able to convince the policymakers that nobody should be left behind. This is where the world is going. And for example, for AI, we have started at the Africa Union. We are already looking at policy and a strategy. And then the various countries in Africa, we are also coming up with AI strategies. Because if you have a regulatory framework, then you can follow on the issues and use them. And for me, I'm very excited because I negotiate for Action for Climate Empowerment. And personally, it is something we've been discussing with Miro for a long time, that we really need to have a major climate action project, even per country or per region, which will ensure that this cascades all over, and then we are able to meet the SDGs as well as empower the community, transform, and have an impact. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Caroline, and perhaps mentioning here also that we are speaking on this topic is also with German Development Corporation, GIZ. Søren Giegler, who is leading the Digital Transformation Unit at GIZ, wanted to be with us as well, and he's very interested in these kind of topics because his task is to support countries in the collection and processing of data. And as you have these great connections to the government who is supportive for climate action, and we have the connections to these tools and platforms and ecosystems, we could be a good partnership, I believe. And Martin has also projects in Kenya. You are welcome to say also a few words.
Thank you so much, Dr. Miroslav. I just wanted to say thank you for a fantastic initiative. You know, I'm very impressed with everything you have put together. And having worked with bankability topics for more than 16 years with Mastar, which is one of the sovereign wealth funds in Abu Dhabi, focusing on renewables, I think the blockchain and the transparency it brings and the transaction security it brings has the opportunity to revolutionize the financing of renewable energy projects. So I'm extremely happy to see, you know, this fantastic panel that you have put together, and I'm hoping, you know, I could be part of the group that is enabling things. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Martin Capella, Electrify. Yes, Julia, please.
I have a comment, maybe especially for you, interesting that a startup that is supported by NVIDIA, 40Guard, is also present at COP these days. They had an interesting event the day before yesterday in the US pavilion, and 40Guard helps with the NVIDIA simulation technology, helps map urban temperatures. And so they're cooperating with a lot of cities to make temperature rises and ways to decrease the temperature in certain areas of the city easier to monitor and also to influence. So maybe Jay Sadiq, the CEO of 40Guard, would be an interesting contact for you.
Thank you very much, Julia Reinhardt, for sharing this information. And now to Nadia, concluding remarks. Perspectives on joint action.
Thank you very much, Miro, for putting together really so inspiring panel, and I really enjoyed the presentations and to see the variety of tools, methods and approaches which are here. And I think this panel was truly interdisciplinary, and it's involved all stakeholders. So we had local initiatives, we have tool development, data developers, also implementers. So it has a great potential to become a successful project. And I also would like especially highlight your initiative on engagement of the young people. I just came from the technology forum in Singapore, and that was especially highlighted how important it is to involve young people, to create potentials, to create also the tools which would facilitate their voice, especially in such policies as climate change mitigation and adaptation. And here, I think with your tools, with the tools which GloCha is developing, you are really in the front of such initiatives.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Daria?
Well, also would like to congratulate you on and the whole team on the great work you have been doing in developing these tools. This is great work, and it has a lot of potential. I think that digital innovation and digital spaces are also the enablers of not only the transition for climate action and the energy transitions, climate transitions, but also just transitions that also enable to include those who are left out from, like, very often from the conversations, from these from the spaces where they are not so present. We are talking about underserved communities where digital spaces allow them to be engaged, and I think that this is also a very important aspect of this work that you're doing. Digital innovation allows everyone to be engaged, because the level of digitalization is increasing, and almost everyone has access to their phone. I mean, it is becoming a reality, and it is like reality for like for I would say majorities, and like, at least, like, again, speaking from countries where we are operating at the moment, but very often they lack access to other networks. So digital spaces allow them to access the opportunities, finance, networks, partnerships that they probably would be lacking otherwise. So congratulations, this is really impactful work, and wish you all the best, and let's continue collaboration, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Daria. And the topic that Daria and also Nadia referring to our solutions also, I didn't go into details, but it's challenges mapping. We have developed a challenges mapping tool where young people or concerned citizens can go in their neighborhood to identify, specify, localize challenges and action potentials for the local and global common good, and putting this in a global information system, which we are then planning to add as a data layer in the one map. Yeah, but more about this then on Monday. We have at our Digital Innovation Pavilion the GloCha Day and Youth Empowerment Day. There we will explain this in more detail. Pourya, your concluding remarks?
First and foremost, I would like to reiterate what Alexei said. Congratulations for 3 years of very successful movement. I would think it's beyond just a pavilion within Blue Zone, so that's wonderful. I remember 15 years ago when I started engaging with cities internationally, there was a sort of reluctance towards digital innovation in general. And I was like, what about the data security? What about our privacy? And like there were concerns, right? But now, or like take the blockchain as an example. Like just 5 years ago, you could barely find a bank in Europe that they were issuing blockchain-based bonds. Nowadays, they are competing. Just a few days ago, Bitcoin market cap became even more valuable than silver, a very long-established asset in terms of market cap. So these are just examples how digital innovation and technologies are changing the way we eat, we meet, we greet every day. And obviously, we need to harness this momentum and use it for sustainable development and for our work on climate change. And with organizations like yours, with this convening power that you bring to the table, with private sector stakeholders, with research institutions, with international agencies, UN bodies, I think this is a space for collaboration to ensure the maximum impact. We are running out of time. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, as a small ending remark, I would love to invite you to another panel that's starting just now at the Azerbaijan Pavilion. And there, our partner, the head of the Digital Innovation Agency of Azerbaijan, Inara Valiyeva, is going to present the digital, strategy of Azerbaijan and what is going on. And you're all welcome to participate in this session right now, so we can go together and see how we can collaborate with Azerbaijan beyond COP. They're doing great work. They're dynamically developing their ecosystem. They want to establish connections with other regions of the world, especially Africa. And so you're welcome to join and share your ideas and also discuss the collaboration with Azerbaijan.
Thank you. And now to our online speakers. Let's start with Bridie. You have been with us there.
Thank you, Miro. But in the interest of time, I don't think I have much more to add than all of the amazing statements that my colleagues have already done. So I'm looking forward to the next steps on this initiative.
Thank you. Matt?
Similarly from me, but I just reiterate the fantastic work that everyone's doing to kind of take these things beyond talking, which I think was the point made at the beginning. And this is what citizen science does, because it's the people who are affected. So they get on with the job. And any kind of institutional support we can to kickstart that, the better. So fantastic to be a part of this. Thank you for organizing.
Yeah, and as you're mentioning, going from talks to action, perhaps the information that we are going to have some conversations now also in New York. On the 3rd of December, we are planning a relatively small session at the UN headquarters. And to prepare our activities, the 3rd of December is also Giving Tuesday. We are going to rally also with some resource holders to see whether there is appetite for some bigger engagement. And then on the 5th of February, there is at the UN headquarters in New York, the ECOSOC Partnership Forum. And the day before, on the 4th, we are going to have a one-day conference where we will present the solutions, the initiatives, and hopefully already resource partners for these things. And now to Doug.
Great, thanks, Miro.
Remarks,
yeah, just quickly. Again, thank you everyone for a really amazing session. I've learned a lot, and I look forward to working with everyone. Again, my only final words would be the need for engaging community, making sure that one map will be the platform to do that as well, and community-driven data is critical. Thanks.
Thank you, Doug. And now to Geoffrey.
Thank you, Miro. Thanks for having me. It's been really wonderful listening to everybody here in this community. And, you know, I'd love to invite you to come out to our headquarters. I know we spoke about that, but I think, you know, having a working session and understanding how our platform can support the one map, and it would be really great. So I look forward to continuing our conversation. Thanks, everybody.
Yes. And thanks very much, Geoffrey, for staying up so long. I think it's already 2 o'clock in the morning at your place. So how is it?
It's not that late, but it's past midnight.
Okay, past midnight. Good night, and thanks for everything. It's really inspiring and beautiful and valuable that to have this cooperation and communication channel to you and NVIDIA. And now the big boss of One Map, Alex Caldas, your concluding remarks, with which we will then finish today's One Map Partners Lab. Alex, over to you.
Well, there's just one word of gratefulness. When we started this idea, we meaning already bringing together the whole UN under 5 pillars, the 42 agencies with one map, one humanity. Our expectation is that this is not for the UN, this is for humanity. And having what we heard here, a multi-stakeholder approach from the start, including private sector, including civil society, citizen science, governments, cities. In the panel, we have fantastic network of cities. So having this multi-stakeholder approach, all of society approach from the start, and building from there was an ambition, and it's not an ambition, it's reality, as what we witness here. So really, that's one of my fundamental key message is this is being built from the start as a multi-stakeholder, whole of society approach. The second is related to what Geoffrey just said at the beginning. We are today exploring our 2 tools, simulation. We are at the fringe of exploring artificial intelligence, the technology, but we should never forget this is about people, places, and planet. I remember when we started the One Map, One Humanity initiative, the strategic idea is to transform the lives of people, places, and planet. And there's no better way than doing that, exploring to the best this digital innovation for people, places, and planet. My last word is about something I witnessed across the panel. Our major challenge is always how to leverage local solutions, innovative solutions by youth, by community-driven, on-the-ground people, and leverage, upscale those solutions to the global level. Because most of the time, the UN is trying to localize top-level global solutions, going from the global to the regional, national, and then sub-national. Whereas I think the solution might might be the other way around, is to upscale local level innovative solutions. And what we have heard here from all panelists is about that, is about solving supply chain, solving food distribution challenges, and solving by local level solutions, and then to upscale those solutions. So a big thank you, Miro. This partnership is on the road. So we have a fantastic future ahead, and greetings to all the great partners that are with us.
Thank you very much, Alex. Thanks for your vision, your innovativeness, your great work with one map, and as partners, we will help you to succeed. Thanks. A hand of applause to all the speakers.